Alright, back for another study. Just gonna cruise right along here. I think looking back, you've correctly marked all of this as awake, and then coming into this epic looks like drops to sleep just before the 15-second mark. I'm just gonna change this one to stage 1. You can see the waves kind of open up here. So up in this section compared to this section. So 1 with an arousal here. We've got 1 again with an arousal here. Then we've got 1, an arousal. I think it's just a little bit sooner here on this. For 1, for 1, for wake. And back to wake. And it cruises right along here. Just plow right through this little section. And looks like you perfectly marked stage 1 here. And then 1 here as well. 1 here as well. And I think this is still 1 actually. I haven't seen any K complexes yet. And this is still 1 as well. I haven't seen any spindles or Ks yet. And wake, and then 1. There's a spindle. So the next one will be 2. This is just after the 15-second mark. And then 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. It's looking like 3 a little bit. Add my reference lines, not so much anymore. 2, 2, 2. And I do think this is an arousal. The frequency is definitely increased here. So I'm going to mark that and we'll call it stage 2 still. A majority of the arousal is over here in this side. And back to 1, good, and then 2, good, 2, 2, and then 1, good, 1, good, 1, 2, good. Very consistent here. And this one I think is 3, 3, 3, and arousal good, to 1, to, nope, to 3 still actually. Have enough brain waves here for 3. And then 2, and then back to 3, 3, 3. So really good stuff so far. Wake. Gonna try and go a little bit faster with these. Okay, so I think this is stage 1 here. Coming out of this, this stuff here, you're gonna have to read between the lines. So look at your F3C301 and look how it starts opening up in the next one right here. So this would be stage 1. And then 1 again with an little arousal at the end. And then dropping off around here maybe for stage 1, so we'll keep this in wake. A K complex here for 2, and 2, 2, 2, and arousal for wake, 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 and now it's hard to read between the lines there. Yeah, you went in to check the wires, good. Good, wake, wake, wake. A little bit of 1 right there. Wake, And then this one I think is all one except for right here, maybe an arousal. So let's mark that. I think it drops off. So in the last one, we had a little bit of sleep right here, and then woke up right there, and then went back to sleep right here in this little section. So if we look in the next one, that continues on till about here. So we'll call this 1, and then wake, wake, and then 1, good, 1, 1, 1. There's a little spindle in this one here. If I went back in Epic, and so the next one's going to be 2. So this one I'll mark as 2, and then 1, then 1, and then there's a K complex there. Maybe a K complex there. Doesn't really drop below baseline, but this one goes enough below baseline for me to call it 2. And 2, 2. And I think this arousal is just about to there. So we'll call this one 1. And then I think this is 2 here with a K complex up and then down. 2. Then 1. And wake. And then 1. This is all low amplitude mixed frequency. It drops off right around there, then picks back up right around here. Wake, wake. Lots of 1 to wake practice in this one, so we'll get to all of that fun stuff. All right, good. You started 1 perfectly there. 1, 1 with an arousal for wake, and then back to 1, and 2, then 1, and then 1, and wake, and wake, and 1, 2, and then with this arousal, I think this stays in 1 like you have it. And wake, good. Good checking on those wires. It's really good. Diligent. I think this is 1 here. So let's go back. I think it drops off right around here. So this would be stage 1. This would be a stage 1. And then we've got an arousal here for stage 1 still. And maybe a spindle here. I think I'd call this 2. And then 2. And then good arousal. This would be 2 though. And then 1. Then 2. 2. 2. And 1. Really got to look at the O1, C3, F3. It seems like maybe they could be laying on their right side. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Two, two. Wait a minute. Oh, they're prone. Okay. Wake, 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 wake. Good. That's getting close to 1. I think this is 1. Compare with the last epic, I think the alpha frequency kind of stopped here. So I think this is 1. and this is 1, and then this is 1, this is 1, and then wake, and if that's 10 seconds, 11 seconds. So this will be an arousal here, right there. And another arousal, but it's not 10 seconds, so we won't mark it, but this would be wake. And then wake, good. Wake, good. This would be 1, however, it drops off here. And then this is all stage 1. Wake, wake. I think it drops off around here, so that would stay in wake. And wake, wake, wake. Okay, so let me go back one. And sleep, definitely some sleep right there. So we'll keep this in wake, and then this would be 1. 1, 1, and then wake, and then 1, good, and then 2, good, 2, wake. And this would be stage 1 as well. It's a little arousal at the end. 1, then drops off again here. This would also be 1. Low amplitude, mixed frequency. And this would be 2. You got K complexes. And 2. Looks like you maybe went back and remarked this as wake after, because you had an arousal here as if you had marked this as sleep. So you might have been right the first time. These are all 2 with the K complexes and spindles. You got a spindle here, K complex here. 2, 2, wake, and this goes above baseline and below baseline. I think I'd call this a K complex. So I'd mark this as 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. Just extend that arousal a little bit. I think this is spindle here. 2. Change that line. Hello. 2. And then we keep this into a majority of the arousals in this side. So you've got 9, 10 seconds of stage 1 and 13 seconds of stage 2. 2. I think this is a K complex here. Got up, down, up. Stayed in 2, good. I think I'd call 3 by here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 brain waves for delta waves. 7 delta waves. I'll just keep it in 3. Kind of clump score a bit. Definitely 3 by here. And this is really tricky because I think maybe they fell back asleep, but the frequency is so high, even though it's sleep. I think I'd call this one stage one. K complex here for stage two, 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 two. Good arousal. K complex here for two, two, two. Wake, wake. A little bit of sleep right here. And you properly mark this as one. Good job there. And this one I think is going to end up being wake, 16 seconds of that arousal. Arousal here for one. Two. A little arousal there. You can see that just a shift in frequency. One, changing that to one, changing this to one, and then spindle for two, 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 and then back to one. Good. And one. Good. And then I would call this two. If we go back one, you got a K complex here. And then three by here. Got enough delta waves in this epoch here. Three, three, three. And then still three. And then back to two, good. Two, good. Three, good. A little arousal here and here. Then one, good. This one I'd probably mark as wake, maybe a little bit of sleep right here, just a little bit. And then this will be two with a K complex there, good. K complex there, good. Arousal there. So two, and two, two. A little arousal here. Stays in two though with this K complex. Good arousal. Another arousal here, that's 10 seconds. Arousal here, arousal here. This will be one. Arousal here, this will be one. Good arousal for one. I'd extend that just a little bit for one. Actually, this one would be two. Actually, K complex here, so you have 12.5 seconds of two and 5.5 plus 3.5, so 9 seconds. So that one would be two, good. Oh, I changed that to two actually. Got plenty of K complexes in this one. You got one here, you got one at the beginning of the epic. 1, good. And 1, 1. I would mark this as 2 because of the K complex in the last one. So 2 starts there. Then 2. Then you went in. I think this is 1 with an arousal here. The rest is all low amplitude mixed frequency. And then this one would be wake. A little bit of sleep right there, but I just drove the arousal straight through it. And I think this is 1 with an arousal here. 1, 1, and then 2. If we go back, you've got a K complex here, starting 2. So this one would be changed to 2. This one is 1, good. And then check in room again. And then good start of 1 there, wow. 1. From the arousal, you don't have any K complexes or spindles, so this one will be 1. 1, good. And 1. Then wake. And then wake. And then wake. And 1, good. And 1, good. And then you have 1, good. Good arousals here. It's looking a lot better on the arousals. 1, good. 2, 1. I changed this one to 1. I think the arousal ends right where you have it. And the rest is 1. And then 2, you've got spindle here, and then wake here. A little bit of sleep here, not enough. You called it wake, that's good. Same deal here. And then same deal here. A little bit of sleep right here, and then the rest of this is sleep. And then this is going to be 1 with an arousal here. So this is all low amplitude mixed frequency. This is also low amplitude mixed frequency. And this one, I think we can call as, how long is this? 10 seconds versus 9.5 seconds. So you have more stage 2 in this epoch. More stage 2 in this epoch than you do stage 1. So we'll call it 2. And then 1. Then wake. Then wake. Wake. And good start of 1. I think you missed a little arousal in between the epochs there. If you look at that real quick. And then 1, good. Then 1, good. And this looks like a K complex maybe here. 2. Then 1. And another K complex here, looks like for 2. And then 1. And I changed this from, I added an arousal here. So the next one I changed to 1 instead of 2. And this one would be 2, 2, 2. And an arousal here, 2. Oh. So these are the ones you're missing, are the ones that cross over through epochs. And then 1. Spindle here for 2. Good arousal for 1, 1, 2. Drops out right here into low amplitude mixed frequency, so I'm going to change this to 1. And then 1 again, good. And then 2, good. 2, good. 2, 2. And then 1. And then 2, 2, 2. Messy stuff. 2, 2, 2. Good arousal, 2. That arousal, though, it drops him out to 1, so I'm going to change this to 1. And then 2, 2, 2. Looks like you marked a bit of REM in there. I didn't see any REM. No rapid eye movements there. Good stage 3 there. Little chunks. And then, okay, so let me go back. Got all this fuzzy alpha going on, and then kind of drops off right in here. So the next one I think is going to be 1. And then with the K complex here, we're going to mark this one, the next one as 2. And so we've got 2, 2, 2, 2, and wake, and then 1, good, and then 1, 1, good, and 1, good, 1, and some spindle K complex stuff going on right here. So I think this one I'd mark as 2. And 2, 2, 2, 2. Good arousal. I think I'd drag it out just a little further. That would be 1 like you have it, and then 1 again like you have it. Good. Then 2. And 1. And then 1, good. And 2, good. Not sure why you dropped this to 1. You were in 2 in the last epic here. Nothing happened except for this arousal, but it happens towards the end of the epic, so this one would stay as 2. The next one will be 1. And then 1. And then 1. Good arousal. A spindle here, I'd call this 2. And then that arousal kind of drops off there to 1. We'll mark this as 1. And here we are for another arousal. Only 6 seconds of 2 in this epic. Call this 1. And no arousal here. 1, and then 2 with a K complex here. No, but a spindle here. And good. Spindle here. Next one will be 2. But a big ol' arousal. 16 seconds. 1. Good. A little missed arousal right there. Good. And 1, good. 2, good. 2, good. Could be an arousal there. That's kind of arguable, though. I don't really think so. 2, 1. I'm just kind of scrolling through a few things here. Okay, back to it. For 1, good. 1, 2, 2, 2. So a bunch of 2 missed here. 1. Wait. Yeah, this one will be 1 from this arousal here into the next one. K complex here. Spindle here. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And then let's scroll ahead here. Eye movements. So your retro scored. So K complex here. I think that this is still 2 and this is REM. Good, and I'd mark this whole thing and call it wake actually. It's all alpha in here. Then you dropped it back to REM. The chin tone though is not, it doesn't meet criteria for REM. So I'm going to call this one stage 1. And then this one REM. See how it drops off right here? Kind of right here. Call this one REM. And then I would call this, see how the chin tone difference from the beginning of this epic and the end of this epic. So I'm going to call this 1 because this is a majority of the epic here of sleep. And then the chin tone drops off again right here for REM. I'm assuming there's eye movements up ahead. Oh. Well, there's kind of an eye movement. Oh, we'll call that an eye movement just for the sake of it. REM, REM, REM. Then another eye movement. Chin tone's low. Good. REM. An arousal here. And that is 15 seconds. We'll just keep it in REM. REM. And then again, the chin tone kind of peaks up a little bit. I'll call this one stage 1. And then it drops back down for REM. You got an eye movement here. And then same deal here. Chin tone stays up. So we're going to call this one stage 1. Then back to REM. Full arousal here. Full arousal there. Good arousals. A little tiny arousal here. You got the chin tone to match. And same here. This is going to be wake. And you have this as N1. Good. Good. And then REM. Good. And wake. Good. Wake. 1. Good. 1. Good. And then 1 again. Good. Little arousal here. So call this one 1 because we just had that little arousal. You might have seen this as a K complex without an arousal, which is why you called it 2. And keep it in 1. Same here. 1. And then 1 again until this spindle here. The chin tone doesn't really drop for this, so I don't think those are real eye movements. Those might be some sort of weird artifact. I'm going to keep this as a 1. 1, 2, wake, wake, and wake. Little arousal here. This will be stage 1. I think it kind of drops off if I scroll back a little bit. I think it dropped off here. 8.5 seconds. And then here again, 5 seconds. And then in the next one, it drops off again a little bit at the beginning. Got this little bit of alpha. But then all of this is stage 1 as well. And at the end here is stage one as well. So a little arousal there. This will be one. A little arousal here for one. And a little K complex for two. Two. And then one. And then spindle for two. And then one. And one. And then arousal for one. One. And then let's look back. You got a K complex in that last epic. So this is going to be two. Two. Little arousal there. K complex here for two. Two. Gonna have a double arousal here. That's only 8 seconds, so can't mark this one. So we got one good, one, and then a spindle here. We'll call this two, and one, and one, and one. Some spindles here. This is actually a big arousal. I think this is wake. Wake. Not 10 seconds. There's a little bit of sleep at the beginning of this, but mostly at the end here. So you have it as one, so that's good. One, and then we'll spindle here for two. Two, one, two, one, good. Spindle here for two. Two. Spindle here just before the 15-second mark. I'm going to call this two. Two, two, two. A little arousal there, back to one. And then two because of the spindle at the end of the last one. One. Now you called this wake, but this is actually, the arousal starts here, so this wouldn't be wake. This would be two. Then wake, 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 and now we gotta read between the lines again. Okay, I think it dips off here. I'd call this one stage one. The little arousal there for one. And then one again. Hello. Maybe a little arousal at the end of that last one. Call this one. Two, 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 and then wake, wake. And this would be stage one. I think it drops off somewhere in here, probably, maybe in here even. I'll call this one, and then one again. No arousal there at the end. And you do have a little K complex at the end of that last one, so I'm going to call this one stage two. Two, good arousal. Two, I think this is actually stage two still. The arousal doesn't really start till there. And wake, wake, wake. REM, huh? I think I'm going to keep this in wake for now. And then one here. And then an arousal here. 15 seconds, we'll call it one. And then another arousal here. So this would be wake. Now his eyes are kind of blinking. Wake, 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 then back to 1. K complex for 2 for the next one. 2, 2, 2, 2. And then this will be 1. This will be 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Good, good, good. And then some K complexes here. I think this is 2, 2, back to 1, 1. K complex here for 2, 2, 1, 1. K complex here for 2. K complex here even. 1. Spindle for 2, 2. Which you had. Not 10 seconds, eh? Nope. 1, good. And I think this is even a K complex. It goes above and below baseline. Into 3. I'm going to keep that one as 3. Nothing really changed. And this one I just changed to, actually, yeah, keep it in 3. To 1, to 2, to 2, to rem. Good. We'll call that arousal and leave that one. Keep it in rem though. You can mark the whole arousal, not just where there's chin tone. So you see where the alpha is, you can mark the whole thing in rem. You don't have to be just where the chin tone is. That's something I feel like I've noticed with you. Wake, good. Rem, good. Good, 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 good. Good. I would probably extend this out to here. Make this just a little bit a bigger arousal. And then back to rem, eh? Yep, certainly. And I don't think, did you measure that? In 9 seconds? I don't think that's an arousal. Getting those weird eye blinks again. Well, this one I think you could almost mark as wake. Wake, and then rem, and then all of this will be your arousal, which is 15 seconds. We'll call it rem still. And then all of that. Good arousal. Good arousal. One little arousal you missed there. Rem, rem, rem. REM, 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 wake, and then a little arousal there. I think this is actually, oh, you have it. You have it as stage one, so good. If this is stage one, wake, good. This one I changed to wake. I don't think there's any sleep in this epic. And then all of this is just wake. There's no sleep brainwaves in here. And these aren't rapid. These aren't really rapid enough. You kind of want to have a pointy edge to it. And rapid eye movements, well, I guess it could be a rapid eye movement, are 0.5 seconds usually. And into some stage one with an arousal here. Again, some one, 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 one. Spindle for two, two. Arousal for two, two, one, two, two. So spindle here. We got another arousal here. And keep this as one like you have it, and this one two, and this one two. This would be wake. The sleep happens towards the end here, if you can see that. Wake, wake, wake. And then one spindle, next one will be two. Two, good, you had it. Another arousal there that you missed. Changing this to stage one. And then lights on. All right, let's take a look at the breathing here and see what we've got. And already I know I have to increase this so I can see a baseline here. And again, just like the last video, I like to set a baseline that is just within my box here. So when it goes up, it reaches the top of the box. When it goes down, it reaches the bottom of the box. Let's get into the sleep here. Okay. Constantly adjusting these here. Yeah, and that's just one breath there. It's good you didn't mark that. So far, so good on the scoring. Nothing really going on. It looked like most of this person's apneas were REM related, so I think you're so far doing good on your scoring. Okay, yeah, mark a little hypopnea there. Um, yeah, good. And I think I'd mark this event as well. You've got almost two breaths coming out of this epoch of wake. So I think that is actually a hypopnea there. This is touching your baseline here. So I don't think there's anything going on right there. Not sure what you saw. Uh, but there's no decrease in flow. See how it's all kind of touching the baseline. You've got an increase right here, but other than that, that's it. And then this is coming right after wake, so I'm going to delete this one as well. And here, if this is 10 seconds, you could mark this as a hypopnea. Oh, it's in wake, never mind. And if this is 10 seconds, you could mark this as well. Maybe, maybe not. Your baseline is right in here, which I think now I've kind of got this a little bit too big. If I decrease this a little bit, baseline, and then this dips well enough below baseline for me to mark that as a hypopnea from the first reduced breath being there to the first normal breath being there. So you fix the can flow. Still a little wonky, but it's okay. Nothing really going on here. Good hypopnea there. You can kind of see the reduction in the T flow. It's hard to see it in the can flow because it's a little wonky right now. And I think these are some scoreable leg movements here that you might have missed. Same in here. And I think I could call that a little hypopnea just based on the can flow. It's hard to say, but I think it's there. Now my T flow line is too big. My can flow line is too small. But it's hard to see a baseline here in the can flow. It might just be a little off out of the nose a little bit. Or their mouth breathing. Okay, and here I think there's maybe a hypopnea. It could be an obstruction, but it's hard to say with the T-flow. It's still a little bit of effort there, or flow there in the T-flow. And then same here, we've got another hypopnea there. Good leg movements. I think we've got maybe another hypopnea here. It's very hard to say, but I think it's there. And this one could even be an obstructive apnea. And then same here with the obstructive apnea. Then you fix the CAN flow and the T flow there, which is good. Now we can see what's going on a little better. Some more leg movements here. Looks good. I think maybe in that last one we could have marked a hypopnea here with the reduced flow. Just waiting for those periods of REM where you marked all the apnea. Okay, here we go. I agree there. I don't agree here because this is a nice flat line in your T flow, so this would be an obstructive. Remember, you look first in the T flow. That's step one. If it's flat, it's an apnea. Then you determine step two, is it obstructive apnea or is it a central apnea? And if there's still effort, then it's an obstructive apnea. If there is no effort, then it is a central apnea. So that's if step one, you look in the T flow. If there's still flow, then there's a hypopnea there. And then you determine whether it's an obstructive or central hypopnea from there. And this one I would drag all the way out to there. And it could even be an obstructive apnea. Yeah, so you got 13 seconds here where it's an obstructive apnea. So I would mark that as obstructive as well. Those are good. And I see this is also kind of flat, but the CAN flow kind of overrules this part here, unless this is about 10 seconds. I think you could mark that as an obstruction. And then same here. Okay. So I agree with this one here. There's still enough flow, especially in the CAN flow, for it to be a hypopnea. But these are both pretty flat lines here. I think this is obstructive, and then same here, this is obstructive from there to there. And then same here, I think that's obstructive. And then this is obstructive from there to there. And this one's obstructive from there to there. So I agree that the whole event is is a lot longer, but delta waves, we mark the obstructives where the obstructive is. Yeah, good, good. Lots of events in REM. Yeah, I think you're right here actually with these being hypopnea. Still a lot of flow here. Even in this one, you still have flow matching with the effort. And I think this you could mark as a hypopnea from there to there, or probably more likely from there to there. And then this one is from here to here. And this one would be obstructive apnea here to here. It's flat enough. Same with this one, here to here. Hypopnea here, from here to here. And then a hypopnea here as well. And you correctly marked that obstruction there. And good, good, good. And I think this is an obstructive apnea right there. It looks like I'm gonna have to decrease this line here. Oh, this line here. Coming in hot. And I think you can mark this one as a hypopnea here. It's definitely below baseline well enough. Okay, and then we've got an obstruction. Oh, what happened there? Got an obstruction here. Looks like a little hypopnea here even. And this one actually looks like could last throughout that whole bit right there. Looks like this also kind of decreases from there to there, but there's not a 4% desat or an arousal to go along with it. And these would be obstructives then, with the flat line up top, even though I guess it's kind of flat anyway. I don't know what's going on with the flow channels, but not getting the best reads out of this study. And this is enough for a hypopnea here. You've got plenty of reduced breaths there. And then you've got an obstruction right there, obstructive apnea there, obstructive apnea there, and obstructive apnea here. Oh, come on. Well, this could conclude the recording. Oh, there we go. Just had to say something. Okay, so these I think are all obstructive apneas. I think it's enough of a decrease. This one might be pushing it actually. I'll change this one back, but these are all just flat. And it looks like if there's any movement, it could be artifact. It doesn't go quite well with the effort. Oh man, it's gonna take all day. And we're so close to the end too. And obstruction, 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 and we'll call that. There we go. And obstruction here, obstruction here, obstruction here, obstruction here. Remember, you don't need a DSAT or an arousal to mark an obstructive apnea. You can just mark them. And then obstructive here, obstructive here, obstructive here. And then some wake. And then here's a nice little hypopnea. And that's the end. All right. So thus concludes another video tutorial training thing for staging and scoring. Um, hopefully it was informative and you can learn something from it. And see you in the next one.